Yo, no maniacs. Welcome into the show. This is another Nomad Live 2025 NFL Draft Prospect Show, part 3. And I got a bunch of guys for you guys, like I always do. I'm seems like I'm adding more and more guys to every show, man. I'm up to about 20 some players, at this point right now that I want to put on display for you guys. I might have to because it seems like the combine and the draft is going to be right around the corner. Feels like I'm going to have to start really stuffing them in there and getting like 30, 35 at a time, maybe 40. I don't know. But either way, I'm going to have to probably step it up a little bit because there's so many other players that I can't wait to show you guys, man. It's so many dudes from so many different schools, and you got to be willing to go there. You got to be willing to go and watch Weber State versus a VMI or something like that to really get to where you need to go in this process. And that is to really go search every nook and cranny of the country where they're playing football, and HBCUs included. You got to be willing to watch those games and see what they have out there for it, so that you can, deliver to your viewers, like we're doing right now, everything that you can. We're still at the very beginning stages of what we're going to do. But I'm telling you guys, later on, tune in, man, because I just got so many different guys to show you guys. I mean, early round guys, late round guys. There's UDFA or two in here today that, some guys that might not get drafted, but nevertheless, that doesn't lessen their value. Only so many people can get drafted, and, that's just the way it is until they open it up a little bit more and offer more to the team so they can draft and add more players. But to me, the amount of players that get drafted every year really pisses me off, to be quite frank with you. But, that's neither here nor there right now. We're going to get to those players in just a minute. But first, let me start off by giving my bit of gratitude to the Bears owner, daughter of the founder, Virginia McCaskey, who just passed away the other day at the ripe old age of 102. And I'm not going to get sappy on this show and put on like I'm not going to go there. I've never met the woman. I have no idea who she is, what kind of person she is. All I know is what reporting and people that have been close to her say about her. And me as a lifelong Bears fan and now podcaster of, a Chicago Bears content channel, all I can say is thank you. That's all I can do is say thank you, because without her and her willingness, and this is to all the fans that's running around out here talking about sell the team, man, y'all better be quiet about that nonsense. Be quiet about that nonsense before it comes to fruition. Now, with her gone, that might be up on the table. Who knows? I don't like the idea of that, and I don't like when people get so upset with the organization. They want to, go straight to the mattresses about it. You know what I mean? Calm down. I can't imagine Chicago Bears football not being in Chicago. And so, therefore, I want to thank her personally right here on the Nomad Network. For me, I just want to say thank you, because without her, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing here right now. And with me and FFG on the screen right now, we wouldn't be able to do it right now because the Bears would be somewhere else. And so I just wanted to say thank you for a life well lived and, and leaving a legacy out here and making an avenue for people like me and FFG to be able to come on here and go live and do Chicago Bears content with people from the area. So I just want to say thank you one more time before I pass it to FFG for any pleasantries, man.
Welcome, No Maniacs. Crims, you dig? Man, he be in here. He's like super on, and he was here at 7:30. I seen him. So Squalls, another super No Maniac, always in the building. Dobbsy 34. Appreciate you, brother. Always a pleasure. Christopher House, Derek Guy. Thank y'all for showing up on a Friday night, because I know people always got plans and things they want to do. And I'm in the mode of nomad. I wouldn't be a Bears fan without Virginia McCaskey, keeping the team in Chicago, keeping the team relevant. And when I was growing up, they started off as losers and became winners. And so I was used to the hardships and the great times and the hardships and the great times. And that's been my whole life. So we went through the hardships. So I'm hoping it goes back to the great times. So that's what I'm hoping. They really bless her memory with winning football and an attitude that shows Chicago football at its finest going forward. And I think that's the biggest tribute you can pay to somebody who's paved the way, especially as a woman in this league and in this industry, to keep it together. Even though her family's running for most of the time, she's still the only living descendant that was connected to an original owner. Was alive for almost the entire length of the time the team was constructed. That's amazing. So we have to give homage where homage is due, and every Bears fan out there, especially if you were born after 1920 something, you know that this is a passion that's passed on generation to generation from the hardest working city in the country and the best fans. So let's get it cracking. Let's check out who we could be picking up on the low or on the high coming up in this draft once we kill free agency. So I think they finna swing for the fences and go build an offensive line. Nomad, take it away.
Yeah. One more thing I wanted to mention is, about Virginia McCaskey and this whole thing we have with the Bears. I think because we are so entrenched in it, and emotions and strings, the emotion strings and heartstrings are tied to every last bit of it, and so we react to different things that we see happening, especially coming off a year like we just saw. You can go to the wrong end of your emotions and overreact. And I'm just not going to be. Again, I'm not going to ever tell fans how to fan. I don't do that. All I do is offer suggestions, and emotionally, I think I'm balanced enough as a guy and as a podcaster, so I can see both sides of how everybody sees this thing, from the fan side of it, the football player side of it, and the organizational side of it, and I can get why people get so emotional about it. But only thing I would caution everybody about is be careful what you say. Careful what you wish for. Even when you're upset, you can say things, you can do things that you don't really mean. Like nobody really means like this. Like you just don't. You have no idea what the Chicago Bears might become if they sold this ownership to somebody else. Because I'll tell you something about billionaire people. Most billionaire people are cocky, and they think they know every fucking thing. They think they know everything. They think they know how small people like us need to think and live. And so they think they can make decisions for us. You know what I mean? You never know what the Bears organization might look like if you get one of these cocky ass, rich, disconnected people to own this organization. You never know what it might turn into. It might not be in Chicago. It could be anywhere. It could be in friggin' Pine Bluff, Arkansas, for all the fuck we know. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, be careful about what you wish for. And when you're upset about the Bears, I mean, it would be helpful, as a fellow fan of yours, to be just watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. We don't want to see different ownership have this team. We really don't. We just get upset with some of the things that goes on and calling it an unprofessional small. I mean, all the stuff, I get it. I just wish we would be more careful with what we say, because I do not want to see that come to pass. I do not. And so I'll just leave that there, and we'll get to a little nugget that we had. Give me a second while I pull it up. Had a little coaching hire, and I wouldn't say it's a small one either. I'm gonna give credit where it's due. And we had let me move us over a little bit. We had a new DB's coach assistant, Cannon Matthews. He's got the connections, and he's got connections with various other teams out there. But I'm gonna just stick with the Dallas one that the most recent one with Al Harris. And so, what do I think happened here? And so I think Dennis Allen was, because Al Harris got hired before Dennis Allen. And so I believe that he was okay with Al Harris being his DB's coach. And, he was just like, hey, man, you coach him up the way I know you can coach him up. Do what you've been doing. And in fact, if you, whatever assistance you want, it's your call, man. Hire who you're comfortable with. And so right away, he went to this guy right here. And just a couple 3 to 5 minutes of watching some interviews and him having pressers talking, about players and about Al Harris and what he does, his techniques and strategies. It didn't take me long at all. I'm talking about 3 to 5 minutes, FFG, before I realized, okay, now I understand why, this was the perfect hire for Al Harris. This is less about Dennis Allen and more about Al Harris trust and knowing how to coach what we're trying to get out of these guys. And I think that's excellent. He gave that guy the runway to get the guys you want to go help you get the job done. And so this is the guy, Cannon Matthews, man, ex assistant at Dallas, became an assistant here.
Hey, no, man, I'm going to tell you what I think. And from what I heard, Ben Johnson called up Dennis Allen like in week 11 or 12 and was like, look, I want you to be my DC. I need you to help me, and we're going to make the Bears a monster midway again. Who do you really want me to focus on right away while they got to work out, me getting in there, because they got to interview a bunch of people. But he said, who do you want me to go after? And he said, I want Al Harris and the cats he might bring in, because he's doing a phenomenal job in Dallas and they don't appreciate it. So I think that was already a done deal up front. You know what I mean? And not like the offensive coordinator side of the ball. I think on defense, he kind of knew, okay, who I want to be in place, but they had to go interview a bunch of people, for a lot of all these assistant jobs now. You got to be able to give people a chance, to even apply for the job. But I'm pretty sure they knew who they wanted, and that's why Al Harris got hired so quick. He said, oh, Mike McCarthy gone? Shoot, I'm plucking them quick. Because all them people up for grabs. And if you don't act quick, you ain't getting them, because Dennis Allen already knew he had been fired. He knew he was going to the Bears. So it wasn't like he had to, be snatched up right away. He had basically field offers.
Obviously, you just said something. FFG, Crimson wants to know what's the source. I don't know what exactly.
I'll look it up for you, Crimson. It's a thing where and the interview that Dennis Allen gave, where he was talking about, after he got fired, he said Ben Johnson called him and he basically, said, hey, what would you do? If I was going to be a head coach, would you become my DC? And then he said he went on vacation. And then towards the end of the season, he got right back into football mode, because he was fired like around the time Eberflus was fired, or maybe even right before that. So, but Ben Johnson called him. That was like in his introductory interview or whatever that he had, where he was talking about that, how that situation matriculated. Now, he didn't say that Al Harris was the guy that I want, or that we should go scoop up if Mike McCarthy get fired. But I'm pretty sure they had that conversation. And that's why he went out and got Al Harris first, to promote him to a better situation, so he can take over that DB room, passing game coordinator or whatever on defense. And now he's got his boy as the assistant. It just makes sense to me.
Yeah, it all is.
It's like how they got Dan Roshar,
yeah,
and everything. Those are all people from the Saints. You got to think about it. Look at all the people that we just got from the Saints that Dennis Allen had a hand in. And all these people technically were all like Aaron Glenn, all that. They all worked together under the Lions coach. So I believe there's always some back deals going on where people know they're going to get a job. So they really kind of focus in on who they want, because everybody plays everybody. So they can tell what the matchups and the kind of things that they've had to deal with and who's actually doing the job, and they talk. Like coaches is a small
it's a fraternity. I got a couple of homeboys that are in it. You know what I mean? It is a very small fraternity, man. It's man, less than basically about a couple hundred guys for the most part. The way I understand it, it's a couple hundred dudes that that go in and out of these different positions, different jobs, who gets fired, hired. They have reputations because people want product knowledge. People want experience. You know what I mean? You need experience. How do you operate with NFL players, professionals, and millionaires, some of them less than, how do you operate with a room full of guys and teach what we're trying to teach? Can you take the message from me? I'm talking about me as an assistant coach, from the guy that's running the whole thing, say the defensive coordinator, Dennis Allen, say, hey, I don't care how you do it, but just make sure you just harp on this. Make sure this is right, the fundamentals, man. Make sure they're you're repping them with the tackling, whatever it is. It's a small little few people that really get these jobs. Every now and again, they reach to the college ranks and get some new blood in here. But the truth is, it's a small fraternity. It's really what it is. And we'll leave that there. But I'm going to get to a comment right here. Nick Rimber put this up. He said, well, did you see the Shane Waldron news? How he didn't coach Caleb at all, and Caleb had to have his own film room in the building basically by himself. Let me speak to that. I've seen that a couple of times, and podcasters will do podcaster things. I don't really care. It doesn't really matter to me what they use as their headlines or whatever they use as hot topics for that day. That's how some podcasters are. Let me explain something to you. And it's going to make sense when I give it to you in this context. Think about Hard Knocks. Think about Hard Knocks and what you saw on Hard Knocks, on the episodes where you saw Flus in the room with Caleb doing film review, right? You remember that? When they was just like, and I was going off, if you watch any of those shows, and I'm just like, what in the whole fuck is Flus doing that shit for? That's not his role. If he wants to be in the room while Shane Waldron is doing that, because that's not a simple thing. He's doing the whole game review with him. That's not I had a question about a couple of plays here, and then no. He's going through his reps and critiquing him and telling him what he can do better. And so that's a couple of hours probably. I had to have my reps reviewed in front of the coach, and I know how long it fucking takes. Trust me, it's not a couple of question thing. He's in there for a couple hours. And so what does it look like for Shane Waldron after this guy just left his all-22 review with the head coach to go do a whole nother all-22 review with the offensive coordinator? Who has time for that shit all day? You know what I'm saying? So, and when you look at it from that standpoint, you all got to see that on Hard Knocks. That was totally, everybody was just like, no, man, you're going a little bit off on that. And I'm like, dude, that's out of line. What is the head coach doing all 22 with he's not the damn offensive coordinator. And so it was totally out of whack.
Ass backwards, bro.
Yeah. So I understand why. If we're talking about there's only 24 hours in the damn day, and you only get so many hours in the building. And so what did Shane Waldron look like right on top of Flu sitting in there with him for an hour or two, or however long it lasted, going over his all 22 to turn right back around and do the same goddamn thing with him? And so that I took it from that context. And so I didn't overreact when I heard it. So I was just like, it made total sense to me. He just sat in there with the head coach doing it for a couple hours. Why the fuck would I do it?
I don't think it was even that. I think that Flus didn't focus on what he needed to focus on by being the CEO and saying, hey, you do this. So, and that's the reason why the players complained about we not getting coach hard enough, because the head coach is in here doing stuff that he's not supposed to be doing, and he's messing with the chemistry of the offense. All he need to do is be like, hey, what y'all doing, what y'all running? Okay, I see the progress. Woo, woo. And then now I go focus on the defense and make sure they stout. Washington, how the defensive line looking, what we running, for the stunts, and how these guys being coached up. And we need to do this, we need to do that. In these pressure situations, we need to call timeout. He didn't focus on the important things. And that's where it just fell apart. So, yeah, I'm glad Shane Waldron is no longer here, because it cleared the way for us to have a better situation. Flu's gone. All them bums that he hired is gone. So life is better now.
I just want to say, I think the dynamics of what goes on inside a facility, coaches, players, and the dynamics that goes on, you get a hot topic like that. Like Shane Waldron didn't even do film work with Caleb Williams, and everybody go to the mattresses about that. I just, like, all you have to do is just think back a little bit. You saw it live on damn, we watched that. We watched that. We saw Flus doing it. And look at what Crimson is saying right here. He said there's a report just before the season that Flus had his hands in every facet of the team. Now, Crimson, he should to an extent. Now, and I'm gonna put a margin on that, and I'm putting a line right across the top of that and say to a point. That shouldn't have been his role doing all 22 reviews, leading that with Caleb Williams. That was him and his quarterback in the same room, defensive coordinator. I think that was a waste of time, and it probably stepped on his offensive coordinator. It's time to do it. You know what I mean? I just thought right away I knew that was out of place. Being a former player, I'd seen that, and I was just like, what the fuck? That don't even make no sense. You go into the meeting room with the offensive coordinator as he's doing the all 22 review, and you give some tips and pointers from a defensive perspective. Like, hey, Caleb, when you saw this, when you saw that dude come up to the box and then hop over into the left flat, and what was your read after that? Something like that. And then he can give a defensive coordinator's perspective on what Caleb was seeing. That's a help to that room. But to be leading that was totally out of line. It was totally out of line. And I could understand Shane Waldron's side of it. Like, why would I ask this kid for another 2 hours of the day after the head coach just did that shit? Because he wants to be in charge of it. Right? So, I mean, that's just my perspective on from what I see.
Hey, I'm going to tell you like this. I bet you $1 million Ben Johnson ain't going to do nothing but ask a couple questions. Be like, yo, Dennis, you got this? This is what we're going to do. All right, this is how we're going to play it. All right, give me the ball back so we can go down and score. He ain't gonna be messy. He not gonna be talking to Javon and whoever we got to play in defensive line, opposite Sweat and all this other mess. And, well, how's the secondary going to, he be like, yo, this team, this is how they play, and this is what we saw against us. There's a way, to prevent that. Be aggressive. But he ain't finna go into detail with all the players and especially the most important player in the team. He overwhelming that kid. And that's probably why he had so many issues where holding on the ball too damn long.
They're thinking too much, man. But all right, man, we ain't gonna hold y'all. We can continue some more of this conversation in a little bit. But I'm gonna drop you off FFG and I'm gonna bring you up right after I'm done reviewing these guys, and we're gonna talk further some more Bears stuff in just a minute. But let me go ahead and roll these players off and give them a little bit of information about them, and I'll bring you back up. Deal?
Perfect.
All right, here we go. Let's get it popping. All right, hold on. Let's get it going. Let me bring up the first player. Let's get right on where we need to be, y'all. And I know everybody wants to know who you got as far as these trenches go. No, man, I got you. I got y'all covered today. And it's going to be some – let's start off with this, man. Hold on. Where is he at? We brought this guy up before. Great Zabel, tackle guard, 6'6", 305-pound senior out of North Dakota State. We talked about him before, but I needed to come back and rap with you guys about a little bit more of what I've been seeing with Great Zabel. And I continue to watch stuff. I'll go back and watch it, a certain couple of series, from a different game, just because I thought I saw something. And I'll go back and, here's what I think about Great Zabel. And, and I'm going to put it in this context. Down at the Senior Bowl, he had a good Senior Bowl. And a lot of people would say that he probably matured his draft stock, right? I would tend to agree with that for the most part. But here's what I would have to say to you about that. He was out there for 1 week. And only certain times of that week, he was able to get really, really physical and feel SEC power, Big Ten power, and that kind of thing. And, he's only done that for a good week. Playing at North Dakota State, you're only going to get a certain level of competition. But he came and rose to that level of competition when he got to down in Mobile at the Senior Bowl. So props to him for that. Here's my thing. Here's the only problem I got with Great Zabel. He's going to need to put on some pounds because the physical beating that he's going to have to deal with day in, day out, week in, week out in the NFL against everybody's from the SEC, the very best from the SEC, week in, there's no drop-off on any team. Because I think 110% he's going to end up getting kicked inside the guard. That's where I think he's going. I think he's going to get kicked inside the guard, and I think it's going to be a good decision for him. But I do think he's going to need a little bit more sand in his pants, and I do think he can do it. And I think he can do it at a high level. technically I see everything I need to see from the guy. You know, I just know that that's going to be a thing to be able to put weight on him, not just any weight, good weight, lean mass, lean muscle mass. And so it's just like anybody can go to the Golden Corral and pack on some pounds. No, he's going to need some good muscle. There's going to be Dexter Lawrences of the world that he's going to have to deal with. And, you know, I think highly of Greg Zabel. I'm not taking anything from him. I came on to point that out because I don't know if I said that the last time. I do think he's going to need some sand in his pants because I believe 110% he's going to end up getting kicked in to guard, you know, and that's just not uncommon for guys like him coming from small schools like that were tackles in college and end up getting kicked inside the NFL and asked, you know, to get stronger, gain some weight. And I think he'll do it, man. But that's just my take on Greg Zabel, man. Let me get this guy down and pull up the next guy. I'll get to some comments in just a second. Matter of fact, let me do it now. Let me see here. What do we got? There we got here. Oh, Nick said, let's just draft people from the SEC and the Big Ten. I wish we could. Like when I start thinking O-line play, Nick, I go to most people might go to right to the SEC because it seems like the highest level of competition. I go to the Big Ten. I grew up in this part of the country. I know what Big Ten football is, and you want to find great offensive linemen. Typically, I'm talking about in mass, probably in the Big Ten, more effective, you know, offensive linemen that have longevity. But you know, I got some different thoughts about that. We'll get to that in a minute. But let me get to another player. We pull up. So we're gonna stay on in the trenches. And everybody I'm pulling up for you guys right about now are who I think are later round picks. Micah Morris, guard from Georgia, 6'4", 330-pound junior. He's really a baby. He's really a baby, man. But I'm telling you, this is what when I see kids like this with this size, he's definitely guard material. He's all guard material. In fact, I think that guy's athletic enough. If you have this center deficiency on your team and you got some depth at guard, you got some depth at tackle, and you really got a deficiency, and you're going to draft this guy probably 4th, 5th round, somewhere up in there. I think he's going to fall that far, not because he's not good, but I just think it's just a lot of good football players that are going to come before Micah Morris. But I know he's going to get drafted because I'm looking for bone density, bone structure, big bone structure, and guys that can really hold up in the interior against players like a Dexter Lawrence. You got to have big bone guys that can handle that battle. And Micah Morris is one of those guys. You watch him on film, you know, you got your DJ Campbells from Texas. You got your, the guard from Tyler Booker from Alabama. I think people are overlooking this guy right here. I think he can give you everything. Micah Morris can give you everything Tyler Booker can give you with a little bit of work. I think this guy is going to be a strong addition to somebody's O-line. And I believe in Chicago, I think there's a need for big, sturdy kids like this that can really hold up to some pounding, you know, from your Dexter Lawrences of the world. He's good. He's really good in the run game and moving people around. His pass pro, you know, the only problem I've seen with him is once a guy gave him a move and that guy gave him a counter move, you know, his reaction to it is a little bit slower than it needs to be. But I know that, you know, to really excel at that is going to come with a little bit of work. But that's what professional coaches are there for. And so I think whoever gets this kid is going to have a stud in the NFL for a long time. In fact, I think he can give you some position versatility if you're willing to train him at center. I think he's got that kind of skill set and body type and athleticism. You can pretty much do what you want with this guy. I think you can probably get some tackle reps out of him if you need it to get out of a game, but that wouldn't be primarily where I would put this kid at. But I'm telling you, Micah Morris, you watch him on film from Georgia, you'll come away with the same answer that I did, man. So here's another guy, John Campbell. John Campbell, 6'6", 330-pound senior out of Tennessee. Again, big body, dense bone structure kind of guy that you want. And he's going to probably be one of those guys that gets kicked inside and plays, you know, some guard. You know what I mean? It's gonna, if he goes to a team that needs tackle, he's definitely going to give some good reps and give somebody some great competition. He's going to be a later round guy as well. You know, so you're talking about finding a depth. You know, I get irritated a little bit listening to some of the podcasters and some of the reporters out here. You know, they seem to think that if you don't get certain names early in the draft, then you fail, basically. And that's pretty much a lazy person's take on what this is, man. You got to go out here and go scout these guys and go look at these guys and see exactly what you're getting. And I'm telling you right now, there's some really good depth at tackle and guard later in the draft, which is where John Campbell Jr. is going to fall. You know, you got your big name tackles that are going to go way ahead of him. Big name guards that are going to go way ahead of him. But you're going to get supreme and superior value with this big bone structured kid right here. If you just kick him inside and let him play alongside a good center and another good tackle, this is a longevity piece, man. You'll have this guy for 10, 11 years if you want to. That's what kind of play he got. So individually, I think he's his pass pro sets are good, really good. He's almost a brick wall in pass pro. His run blocking is above average, like way above average. And he's got good, let's just say, because Tennessee ran this up-tempo offense and they really didn't call huddles, he's got good wind, good stamina. You didn't see like a drop-off in his play because he was a little bit tired because of the tempo of the offense. No, he was in really good shape. And for a guy this big, man, you know, he's huffing and puffing out there. But I'm telling you, man, this is one of those guys, man. Go check him out. John Campbell, 6'6", 330-pound senior out of Tennessee. You'll be surprised what you see on tape. I'll just say that. Justin Wally, cornerback out of Minnesota, 5'11", 195-pound senior. Now, he is a straight-up ball magnet. Straight-up ball magnet. And he's a zone coverage corner because that's basically what Minnesota does. That's what Terrell Smith came from, and I knew specifically why Matt Eberflus targeted that kid. It's because he's a zone coverage cornerback in particular. And I'm not saying that Justin Wally cannot be a man cover. I think he's got all the skill sets to do it. But I think, you know, Dennis Allen and the kind of defense he's going to run, it's going to be more man coverage specific, more press man specific. And I think a guy like this later on in the draft, when you start looking at the quality, I think his turnover ratio, I can't remember exactly how many picks he got. I know he's got a lot of pass breakups and several picks. He was up at the tops in the country with picks just because they playing zones and he can look at the quarterback instead of man coverage. So I put him up here because I was just impressed with his play, and I don't want to shortchange him. And just because he's in basically his base formations are zone coverages, he wouldn't be able to play in a Dennis Allen base coverage situation, which is mainly man and press coverage. I think he can get it done. And so I just wanted to mention Justin Wally he's one of those sleeper picks that you won't hear too many guys talking about, man. But I'm telling you, he's got talent up the wazoo, and I think he can transition over to more of a man-based defense. I think he's got the skill set. Let me get back in the trenches where we belong. Cameron Williams, offensive tackle from Tennessee. Not from Tennessee, but from Texas. 6'5", 335-pound junior. Extremely long and powerful. His hands are really, really powerful. He's got a great anchor, and he seals well in the run. I think in the run game is where he typically has his, you know, I'd rather draft an offensive lineman that has, you know, less effectiveness in the run game than a less effective pass protector, because you can work on, you know, technique and fundamental stuff with the run stuff, because it's just really about effort and making sure you're taking right angles and, you know, creating a target point and doing that kind of stuff in the run game. That's just basic fundamental stuff. And so Cameron Williams, I'm telling you, you talk about this is going to be one of those guys that go later on in the draft. But holy crap, look at the measurements, bone density. You're talking about guys that can hold up for a long time. His pass pros are pretty good. Now, it's not perfect, and no prospect is going to come into the NFL perfect, ready-made. You don't have to do no work with them. Every last one of them are going to need work, to be quite frank with you. And this is going to be one of those later round guys that you get when you know you need depth, and you don't have to go start this guy right away because he's mainly played right tackle for the most part. And you got Darnell Wright. And so you don't have to, you know, put him in a situation where he has to play right now. Can he switch over and play some left? I do believe so. 110%. And so to me, he would be a depth piece later on in the draft, 4th, 5th, 6th round, something like that. I guess that's where he might go. But I'm telling you, this guy has got I think he's got a high ceiling, because I think his ability is just going to go up and up and up with training and coaching. And so to me, I just think the ball of clay that you're looking at right here is not the finished product whatsoever. It's the very beginnings of what this guy is going to be, man. He's going to get bigger, stronger. You know, I just look at this guy later on in the draft when we start doing that show. Just wanted to mention to you. Offensive tackle, Cameron Williams, potentially guard, Cameron Williams, 6'5", 335 pounds. Let me get to a couple of comments. All right. He says he reminded him of Mekhi Becton. Yeah, it's a lot of Mekhi Bectons in this draft. A lot of Mekhi Bectons. And I know exactly what you mean, Nick, when you say that. You're basically saying guys that you want to project as a tackle, but you end up having to probably kick them inside the guard. And so for a draft, like our team in particular, to be the kind of team that really is in need at both positions, but in particular more needy at guard, it's a good draft to have, because you got guys that are playing tackle right now in school that you can definitely see kicking in the guard and giving you some good, strong play out of that, man. So it's full of Mekhi Bectons. You just can't be stubborn when you get one of these kids just because they played tackle in college and just assume that this guy's going to translate well in the NFL to tackle. He may or may not. But don't give up on a guy like they did in New York and just give him away to Philly, and he turned into an all-star guard. I mean, you just got to be flexible with your mindset. And I think it's all coaching and a coach's mindset as to, why those things happen, man. If you'd had a more humble coach, Mekhi Becton will still be in New York, and he'd be playing guard well for them right now. That's what I would say to that. What up, Mo Fugger? Let me look at a couple of things here. Yes, chemistry with Darnell. Darnell knows him. Yep. Luis Claudio, North Dakota up in the house. That's what I'm talking about, Luis. I love it. And I'm looking at a couple more comments. Hey, Cornelius Squall said he practically ruled out drafting the old lineman in the first round. And, we're going to have that conversation. That's going to take some twists and turns. I'm telling you that right now, Squall. Let me see here. I look at what's available after their pick. I hear you. Luis Claudio. All right. Let me look at some more guys. Let me see what else we got in the trenches here. What else we got here in the trenches? Let me look. Let me look. Oh, I'm gonna save this guy for a little bit later. Let me get to this. Hold up. Give me a minute, y'all. Hold on. Where's my guy? Where is my guy? Hold up. Oh, here we go. Guard Connor Colby. 6'6", 310-pound senior out of Iowa. And you love the way he comes off the ball. He really comes off the ball and takes really good angles. What do I mean by that? So Iowa, all right, so I'm gonna put 2 and 2 together for you guys. What Ben Johnson, his scheme that he's gonna, I don't know 110% exactly what Ben Johnson is gonna do, but I don't think he's gonna get too far away from, what they did offensively, schematically on the line, what they did in than what they did in Detroit. I don't know why you would get away from that. It was effective. It was wide zone concepts, slant blocking, that kind of thing. And, what they do with Caleb and, different formations surrounding that, I think that'll be a little bit different than what you saw in Detroit. But what they do in Iowa is a carbon copy. What they do in Iowa, what they do at Ohio State are pretty much a carbon copy of what Ben Johnson and the offensive line did in Detroit. And so Iowa linemen, specifically interior linemen, will translate very, very well to what I know Ben Johnson likes to do. And that is wide zone schemes, slant blocking and that type of thing, and coming off the ball, taking good angles, making sure you got a right target point and you hit your target point and you keep your leverage. And these guys at Iowa do a really, really good job. I don't know when the last time I've seen a good Iowa offensive tackle, but I've seen numerous guard centers that play really, really well and become stars in the NFL, because that's what they really, I think that's where the strong point in Iowa's offensive system, they really pump out good guards and centers. And so that's what I was really looking for with this kid right here. Connor Colby has everything you want. The way he fires off the ball and takes those good angles and is so good at zone blocking, I think he would be an instant fit as a guard right here in this offense right now. I'm talking about if you just watch his play, immediately you would come away from it. He's a little bit light, for a guard, a little bit light. I think I could see that kid putting on 5 or 10 pounds like it's nothing because of his body type. He's got good bone density, good bone structure. He's going to be able to put on some solid muscle, later on. And so kicking him right on inside the guard, right off the top, I think he could be a plug and play starter right away. I'm not like exaggerating when I say that. That's how good I thought his film is. I thought his film was that good. He can come in here to a wide zone scheme, plug and play right now because he understands the concepts. He understands the concepts and the angles and what you need to do to really secure you, especially in the run game. Pass pro, it's probably a little bit less better than the how he attacks in the run game, but still effective in the pass pro too. So I do think he would be an upgrade right away to what we have right now. Right now, I think he can plug and play and start right now. He's pretty quick on the feet. Now, I wouldn't say he's fast, but he gets to the second level pretty good, man. So I liked everything I saw about Connor Colby. Go check him out. You get a chance to at Iowa, 6'6", 310-pound senior. Get to the next guy. Let's stay on in the trenches, man. I got a good sleeper for you guys. A good sleeper right here. Mose Bavayo, 6'3", 317-pound senior center. This is the one I was talking about when I said it could possibly end up being not drafted, but that's okay. Less than think little of that. Think little of that. Whether the guy is drafted, he could get drafted later. And he could not get drafted later, but I'm telling you, it lessens his value not one single bit. Not one single bit, because Mose Bavayo is solid. When I say solid, I mean he is solid. 317 pounds. He's probably going to have to put on another probably about another 5 pounds to really, be able to really hold it up for an entire NFL season. But I didn't see no shortcomings in his anchor whatsoever. He's a big kid from the island. He's an island kid, as you can actually see. He's a Polynesian kid. And they're pretty well built from the bottom up. And so he handles power really, really well. And so that's the main thing I was looking for, was his ability to be able to diagnose what he was seeing in front of him, process it, and get it to the quarterback as quick as possible, on that, and to be able to handle power, which is what he's going to deal with more times than not. He's not going to deal with the, trick bag edge rushers and those kind of guys. He's going to deal with big, powerful dudes. And how well do you anchor against them? I saw a game against UCLA with a big kid named Jay Toya. I showed him on the show about a week ago, man. Big old dude, man, 335-pound, 6'3" guy, man. He was stoning him. He was just straight stoning him. That guy's got him by about 40 pounds, 40, maybe 50 pounds. I don't know, but he was stoning him. And so, people have been asking me, hey, no, man, I want to see some centers. You ain't show no tight ends and all that kind of stuff. I'm finding them for you. Telling you, this kid right here, Mose Bavayo, go watch you some Fresno State football and come back and tell me what you thought of it. I'm just going to say that, put that out there for you. Let me get to a couple of comments. What up, Jay? Hey, Luis Claudio, I got you. Don't even worry about that. I got you. That's funny you mentioned that. It's funny you mentioned that. Yo, what's up, Paul? Paul Rodriguez. Let me see what we got here. All right, let's get to the next guy, because we got several. I don't know what we're gonna do right here. Let's Mr. Charles. I was thinking about you as I was putting this show together, man. I really was. And if Minister Charles got on me, man, he said, man, we need some powerful thoroughbred backs, man. We need some pounders. And so I got them for you. We're gonna start off with somebody Luis just mentioned to me just now. Caleb Johnson. running back out of Iowa, 6 foot, 225-pound junior. He's big, very versatile, every down back with good hands and long speed. And here's the only, I'm going to give you what I think, I ain't even going to call it bad news. I would just say lateral ability, going left or right. I think there's something, I think there's some meat on that bone. And I think with a good running back, or a foot specialist, he can get that. You know what I mean? It's not like he doesn't have the ability to get that. But if I was in his ear, and I'd be like, Caleb, find the best foot guy in the country. The guy, I know a couple of them is on YouTube. They're really good working with football players with their feet. But that's the only thing I think is missing in this game. He's stout in pass protection. You got to be in Iowa to play. You're going to have to be stout in pass protection as a running back to play. I know that. I don't even have to study that. I know that about that coach. And so I like everything about Caleb Johnson. And I think he's getting the praise he deserves. But I also want to mention that offensive line in Iowa was really good. And, they need some credit too. That's why I showed his lineman before him. But Caleb Johnson has everything you want. Speed, power. For a guy that big, you know what I mean? You don't expect the guy to have long speed, but he certainly does. And, he picks up the pass pro well. I feel like in this kind of concept that we're about to be running in Chicago, I think he's also a perfect fit for what we do. I just don't think we're in a position to be able to get him that early. I think the first round is going to come and go, and Chicago Bears, I don't think will have the luxury of drafting a running back unless they do some crazy work in the free agency period. But, who knows, man? Things could change between now and then. Caleb Johnson, there's nothing about him I dislike. There was nothing about him I would say as a flaw in his game. The only thing I would say in a way towards, he needs help is that lateral agility. He can get better at that. He's got great straight line ability. And the hole is there, he can accelerate through it. But, avoiding tackles and getting that extra cutback juke and get to a hole that is developing on the other side of him with his lateral, with the vision, lateral vision, basically. I forget what they call it, peripheral vision. I think he can get there with some work with his feet. I think highly of him. I just hope we can get in a position to get a back of his caliber. I think the world of Caleb Johnson. Get to a couple of comments. Minister Charles gave it a thumbs up. You know what, Paul? I did Bayshore Tootin. I think that might have been our first show. I think I did Bayshore Tootin. Bayshore Tootin definitely was on here. Cornelius likes his size. We do need a bigger back. You ain't seen nothing yet, y'all. Y'all ain't seen nothing. Louis Claudio thinks Caleb Johnson could be the next Montgomery, next to Gibbs with Swift or Johnson. Quinshon Judkins, I ain't that impressed with him, man. I ain't. I want to be, but I can't find it, man. I think he's a regular running back, man. I really do. I just can't find the special to him, and I need some special. And if it's just about physical, I get it. He's very physical. But, yeah, I think we can do better than Quinshon Judkins. I like him, though. Let me get to the next player. I'm gonna save a running back for a little bit later because I can't wait to talk about him. Hold on, give me a minute. Where should I go now? Let me see here. Hold on. Damn, I only got 2 running backs. That was my fault. All right, we're going to talk about a couple other things. Let's talk about a couple of linebackers. Linebacker Jeffrey Bossa, 6'3", 335-pound senior. Speed, power, good instincts, and play recognition. That's not to be understated. His play recognition, his instincts, all of that goes into one. And I think it's a way above average with him. You play 4 years of college, that's naturally going to get better and better over time. I don't care how many people tell you anything otherwise, but you get a certain amount of reps you're going to see the field in a different way. And you can see the maturity in him watching the game as it's playing out, play by play. You can see, from like I can remember watching it as far back to him being a sophomore. I believe a sophomore. I watched some reps then, and he's a different player than he is now, and that comes with experience, man. But he's definitely a Dennis Allen. Jeffrey Boss is a Dennis Allen type of linebacker, bigger on the bigger side with the 6'3", 235 pounds, is going to put on another 5 or 7 pretty quickly. You know what I mean? With no problem. And then he's right there with the Jamario Davises of the world. You know what I mean? 240, 45-pound linebacker, So he likes big physical guys that hit and tackle and run. And he fits every last bit of the quota. So Jeffrey Bossett, it's really stout in the run game. He was above average in coverage. When he had to man up on a tight end or a running back, he didn't seem to, take a step back at it. When he got caught up on one of those shiftier slot receivers in man coverage, that was a disaster, because that's going to be a disaster with any linebacker on any slot receiver. But he holds his own, man. So another one of those interesting prospects if they go by way of drafting another linebacker later. I don't think this is going to be an early pick. If he goes off the board second, third round, I think it'll be a miracle. I think he's going to be there fourth, fifth, maybe even sixth round. It's one of those guys you can really, bring up the depth of your roster with Jeffrey Bossa, because we're going to always draft linebackers and we're going to always draft DBs. I know you guys don't think we need them. I don't even need to look at the comment section, but I'm just telling you guys right now, as long as you got that kind of defensive mind in the building, we're going to draft linebackers and we're going to draft DBs, guaranteed. Get to a couple of comments. I hear y'all. All right, let's get to another guy. Let me see. We talking about linebackers. Let's get to another. Let me see if I got another linebacker in here. Oh, this is definitely a Dennis Allen linebacker. This is definitely a Dennis Allen linebacker. One thing that if you watch any New Orleans Saints film, the one thing you will notice about those linebackers is they fly. They fly sideline to sideline, north, south, east, west. One thing about what they do is be fast about it. Be fast, be physical. Smile Munden from Georgia, 6'3", 335-pound senior, elite athlete. Let me tell you something. There's not very many linebackers in the country as elite as he is athletically. I'm talking about his physical gifts. You got a few linebackers in out of Alabama. You got your Nick Martins of the world out of Oklahoma State, but there's very, very few linebackers with the elite athleticism that he has. Smile Munden is a stud. I mean, when I say stud, I'm putting an emphasis behind it. He is a real stud, and he's a general. Sideline to sideline speed. He's Mike linebacker prototype is what he actually is. He's exactly how you draw up a Mike linebacker. Mike linebacker being the middle linebacker, and basically the guy with the green dot on his helmet. He's playing Mike. He's playing a lot of a lot of will linebacker at Georgia right now because he's got pass rushing ability. So he's playing off-ball linebacker a lot in Georgia. But right away, if we drafted a guy of this caliber, he'd want to put the green dot on this guy and tell him to patrol the entire field. The Smile Munden is an absolute stud monster. I mean, straight freak athlete, man. He really is, man. And if we got somebody like this, man, you talking about, oh my goodness, man. Smile Munden is a real treat to watch on film. I'm just gonna say, go watch him and tell me about your comments later on. But he's one of my pipe dreams of a linebacker we can get. But I highly doubt we're fortunate enough to get a linebacker that'll go off the board as early as Smile Munden. Just had to put him out there though. Mr. Charles says, I really think Edmonds is going to get back on track under Allen. I believe that too, man. I really do. I think he's going to be asked to play different. He won't have to play back in cover 3 and be a coverage linebacker. He'll be spying the quarterback, spying the running back, spying the tight end, and playing more downhill. And that's what every linebacker would prefer to be doing. Paul Rodriguez says linebacker is sneaky good. Sanborn is due a pay bump. Tremaine not living up to his contract. I hear you. We got more. Let me get to some other stuff in here. Hold on for a second, y'all. All right. Well, y'all rather talk about some safeties? Y'all want to talk about some tight ends? I got a couple of treats for y'all at tight end. Let's talk about some safety. Let's talk about some corners. Got a couple of corners in here. Hold on a second, y'all. My mouse is going. I think my mouse battery is going dead on me. I have to refresh that thing, but hold on, y'all. Apologize. How about this? Let's talk about a couple of receivers, man. Let's talk about this cat right here. We do need a slot receiver, don't we, y'all? We do need a slot receiver, a very dependable slot receiver. Somebody now, Xavier Restrepo, wide receiver out of Miami, 5'10", 198-pound senior. Listen, don't pay no attention to 5'10". Don't pay no attention to 198. Don't pay no attention to any of that. He's not fast. He's not no blazer. He's not going to take the top off your defense. None of that's going to happen with Xavier Restrepo. But what he will do is absolutely be the quarterback's best friend. Absolutely be the quarterback's best friend. He finds ways to get open. He's not a blazer. He's not extra hella quick whatsoever. There's nothing special about Xavier Restrepo that you can see on the surface. What Xavier Restrepo is different is what's up under the uniform and what's up under his skin. It's his heart. He's a tough guy. He's a real tough guy, and he will take the smoke. He knows he's going to get hit. In fact, he's going to get smoked a lot of times, and he knows it. And he's tough. He is so tough. He will have no problem adjusting to, let's say, a Ben Johnson scheme that's going to require those receivers to be great blockers. He's not going to have any problem, going into that. And right away, I guarantee he'd become Caleb Williams' best friend. Guaranteed. Just because of his reliability. Just reliable, dependable slot receiver who is clutch. And I will emphasize that. Clutch in big moments. Every time Miami needs a big play from a receiver, it's a 3rd and 15, 16. He's going to find Xavier Restrepo. And that guy's going to make a play. In traffic, get the hell knocked out of him, and he's going to bounce right back up and get to the next play. I mean, tough as a $2 steak. Tough as some old man's toenails. I'm telling you, I love this kid. I love this kid and the way he plays football. His toughness, I think, is elite. And that's the thing you can't measure when you watch some of these guys unless you got a good, keen eye on exactly what you're looking at. And I'm telling you that it factor is sometimes toughness. And I think he's got that at the level from 1 to 10. I think he's got that at a 12. This how much I think of Xavier Restrepo. I just love just the fortitude he has, man. I think he's going to be, whoever he goes to, he's going to become that quarterback's best friend day one. Just because of his toughness and the hands and just the ability to be able to make, timely plays, I think is extraordinary to me, man. I'm really high on Xavier Restrepo and would love to see him in the Bears uniform. Get to a couple of comments. Yes, he can catch everything, Nick. He can catch everything. Tim Patrick in the slot, Mr. Charles, I don't think he's a slot receiver. I don't think. But he can probably get you some slot reps. Jay Grizz says, you know what, Jay Grizz, I watched enough old Dallas Cowboys film to know exactly who you're talking about. He says, Restrepo reminds me of old Dallas Cowboys receiver for Miami Hurricanes, Kevin Williams. He caught everything, too, and was short as hell. Hell, yeah. You can't, and I caution people about that all the time, looking at somebody's measurables and trying to, put a ceiling on that kid because of his measurables. That don't mean shit to me. Can he play? I don't care about nobody's 40. When I look at the games, game speed, does he have football speed? Don't matter how fast he runs in a straight line 40. Who fucking gives a shit? But that guy right there has everything that the eye can't see. And that's the measurement of toughness, man. I'm telling y'all gonna love that. Anybody that hasn't seen Xavier Restrepo is gonna love that kid. Go Blue said he's faster than Tom Waddle. I got a pet turtle faster than him. Yeah. Let me look at here. Cole Beasley. That's a good comp. Julian Edelman. Yeah. 4.4 for Xavier Restrepo? What? Where you get that at, fact? No. I'd be surprised to see that. If he run that, it wouldn't stop me from drafting him if I'm in that building. I'd be like, get that motherfucker because he's tough. And you need guys like that. All right, let's get to another player. Let me see what else we got. This guy right here, another corner. If you guys haven't seen cornerback Lamarion James from TCU, boy, get your popcorn ready. Let me tell you something. He's 5'10", 190-pound senior, sticky as you can get as a man-to-man corner. He's a straight up dog and aggressive tackler. I mean, when I say dog, I try not to use that word too lightly, but he is an absolute dog. And so his forte and specialty, when you watch the film, notice how well he plays in one-on-one coverage, press man coverage. And so when you're talking about a Dennis Allen as your coach and what type of corners, to this day, we're going to see, how it all shakes out, when he sees, Jalen and, Tyreek and all these guys up close. I got a strong indication that he'll like all those guys. I think Terrell Smith might be the one that struggles against man more than not because he's used to playing zone coverages. And so if that comes to fruition that, he doesn't see Terrell Smith as a prototype man-to-man coverage that can tack up and play with anybody on the field, your slot corner, your X receiver, your wide receiver, then he might have to look into the draft and try to see if he can find guys that can do it. And Lamarion James, I'm gonna fight myself before I say this a little bit, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think he might be the toughest man coverage corner in the country. Lamarion James is that good in man coverage, press man coverage. He is sticky. He's an NFL ready. Start right now. If you're going to play man-to-man on your defense, start me right now. Matter of fact, I'm not going to give you no choice but to start me because I'm going to outplay every one of your corners. Lamarion James is tough. He's a stud in every way. If it's not just covering, he's coming up and tackling aggressively too. He's everything that a Dennis Allen cornerback would be. The aggressive, Marshawn Lattimore type of kid. That's what he is. And I think he's better than everybody in the country. And I ain't done watching all the corners. But so far, I don't know that there's a man press cover corner in the country as good as what I've seen in Lamarion James. I think he's that tough. And I'm a corner. And so, take that for what it's worth. I'm telling you, this cat right here is the deal, the real deal. I don't know where he might get drafted, but holy shit, if we end up getting our hands on this cat right here. The cornerback room, the DB room just went up times 10. Trust me when I tell you, this dude is NFL ready. He's probably been NFL ready for the last couple of years based on what I saw. And so good guy. This dude is going to be a lockdown corner on the next level. And we're going to be talking about him on Sundays as one of the better picks in this draft. I'm telling you, he stands out that much to me. That's how good I think he is. We're going to be talking about him, and we're going to be like, how did people miss on this kid? So just had to put that out there. Lamarion James is him. Just telling you. A couple of comments here. Let me see here. What we got here? And Nick Rimbert must have checked him out. He said, this motherfucker is tough like Stingley. like Stingley is Tyreek crazy, but Stingley is who he reminds me of. Yeah, he's sticky like Stingley. Sticky. I always look at that, man. How sticky are you? How well do you mirror, the routes? You know what I mean? Are you staying in phase? What I mean by that, are you staying in phase? You're not. If you're out of phase, that means you're out of step, and that receiver's got some, he's pretty much got a step on you, and if the quarterback throws it the right way, he's gone. He's gone. This dude stays in phase, and what I mean by in phase on such a regular basis, he's always in position to make a play on the ball. I think that's probably the best way to describe staying in phase as a corner to people, is always being in position to make a play on the ball, making sure you got right leverage and you right there where you need to be, right there in that hip pocket. That's where you want to be. So I'm telling you right now, Nick knows what it is. He's tough. I like Darian Porter too, Go Blue. I like Darian. It's several cornerbacks that I like. I'm telling you, this kid's tape is just different to me, man. I think I let the tape speak to me, when I watch this stuff, and I try not to draw too many, wild conclusions off of what I saw. But then you just sit back and you watch the kid play and just let the tape speak to you, and it tells me everything I need to know. This cat is going to be an elite cornerback on this next level. He's going to be elite. All he's got to do is, I'm knocking on wood right now for him, stay healthy. That's it. And he's going to be elite on the next level. If he goes to a base man coverage concept, that's what he needs to play in. Zone coverages, I think there's another cornerback that I'm going to show you guys later on that's better than all of them in the country at that. I'll show you that guy in a week or two. But let's get to another guy. Let me see here. Well, do we got any more corners up in here? Let's see what we got. Any more corners? I'm not seeing corner. That's the only corner I put up there. Oh, Justin Wiley. We did Justin Wiley, right? Yep. All right, let's deal with some safeties. Andrew Makuba from Texas. He is a 6 foot, 190-pound senior. Here's the thing about him. I think he's going to end up playing slot. He's going to end up playing as a slot corner. He'll give some reps at safety if needed. You know what I mean? If needed, he'll play some safety reps, play some sub package and stuff like that. But I think his value is 110% going to be at slot. He's really, really good at tacking up and playing man to man and playing the slot. I can see that right now at Texas. Fast, versatile playmaker, can play both the safety role and the slot corner. I don't think he'd be in a boundary corner, but I do think he has all the size and the measurements, the trait requirements. I think that he's an interesting piece that any defensive coordinator that has a penchant towards finding guys that are position versatile is going to be extremely attractive to Andrew Makuba. Extremely attractive to this kid because he offers that. He's a willing tackler. In fact, he's aggressive at it. And, that's the main thing you need because, safeties and slot corners play down in the box a whole lot, and you got to play towards the line of scrimmage like an extra linebacker. And so he has all the willingness in the world to tackle, and that's what's going to be attractive to him. So he's going to, what if he ended up here, he bounced between safety and slot corner. And so I think he's more slot corner than he is safety. And so that's why I would say that he'd probably be the less attractive piece in Chicago that we need right now because we have Kyler Gordon. And I think they're looking for more of a safety, more of a safety, that 200-pound plus big thumper is what we need. We need another box safety in case Jaquan Brisker can't go for whatever reason. So I think that's what we're looking for. And I got a couple of those guys coming up. Get to a couple of comments here. Y'all, please get the likes up, man. Please. I'm asking, not telling. TJ Tampa is from Iowa State. I wish Makuba was as long as Derwin James. Nick. I wish he was. What up, T3P? We got Go Blue says, when I moved from the corner position to safety, boy, my game elevated. This is my most favorite position. You know what? Sometimes I wish I just played. I wish I was like I wasn't 200 pounds when I was in college. I floated between 185 and 190. I was, 5'10". You know what I mean? But I was very physical, and I had the safeties mentality when I played, and so I was a great cover corner. Man to man, I put my skills up against anybody's. That's just the way I thought, and I acted like that on the field. But my first instinct was to hit and be physical, and so really I was a safety in my mind, but I knew my body couldn't. I couldn't deal with the rigors of playing safety. You 190, 188 pound kid, dude, you can only hit 200 something pound people hard for so many times, and your body gonna start breaking down, bro. That's just how it is. You need a little more sand in your pocket. And at that time, I couldn't keep weight on me to save my life. But that's, my heart really was as a safety. That's really what I was. Y'all please hit the like button, like Jay Grizz said. Thank you, my boys. Thank y'all. Marlon Johnson, what's up, man? Let me see. Milton Chisholm said he played strong safety, then moved to a linebacker in college. I bet you must be somewhere around the 200-pound range, Milton. You got to be, or 200-pound plus. I wish I could get to 200 pounds when I was in college. Go Blue said he was 225 in college. He was a big dude, man. I wish I could get up to that weight when I was in school. Yeah, I was ran too much, man. I tell y'all the truth, man. One time we came off a weekend of partying. I weighed in at, I think, 189 that first day of practice that week. I weighed in at 189. By the time that practice was over, what was I down to? I think I lost 11 pounds in that practice that day. 11 pounds. Can you imagine that shit? 11 pounds in one practice. That's what I tell you about my weight fluctuated. And our coach worked us hard, man. So he never let up on making sure we had good wind and making sure we got our sprints and gases in. Dude, I'd straight up lose that shit, man. Soon all the weight I gained the weekend, lose it all, bro. Milton Chisholm was 245, 6 foot 245. Yeah, you're supposed to play linebacker. That's exactly what you're supposed to be. You that big, dude. I hear you, AC Adam. He says he want to see Briscoe make it through a season so bad. I do too, man. You won't have a bigger fan of Jaquan Briscoe than me. Go Blue. Shout out to Go Blue for the $50 super chat. Man, y'all get that, man. Man, thank you. Thank you so much. We need it because at the end of every month, we got bills to pay, and every dollar goes towards that. At the end of every month, we got bills to pay for apps and all the stuff that you see, cute ass stuff that you see on the Nomad Network. All that stuff costs money. So thank you so much, man. We're going to put it to a good use and make sure we pay some bills with that Go Blue. Thank you so much, my bro. Milton Chisholm said, I got big for a strong safety. You was too big for a strong safety, Milton. You was way too big. I'm going to leave Milton generous chat up. His super chat up there, man. Hold on. Let me get to another guy. All right. We talking about safeties. I got to go here. I ain't got no choice. Let me see. Let me make sure. This is probably the most slept on safety in the draft. You won't find nobody talking about Jonas Sanker from Virginia, 6'1", 210-pound senior. I think he's perfect. Look at the length of the arms. Look at the length of the arms. Number one, first thing that stands out to you, he's long. Complete safety. Long arms with great range. What do I mean by range? Sideline to sideline, getting to the ball and be able to make a play. He has no shortcomings, in my opinion. Football IQ is outstanding. I told you, you stay to your senior year and play that out, you're going to come away with some stuff in your bag that, your average young freshman and sophomore just don't get because he hadn't seen enough football on that level. So Jonas Sanker is the deal. He's in my top 5 in safeties in this draft. And I'm talking about right up there with, you guys know how I feel about Lathan Ransom, Josh Dobbs, and Caleb Downs, and your Xavier Watts from Notre Dame, and another guy I'm gonna talk about here in a minute. But there's a handful of these guys that I think are elite, and I think are going to be elite starters on the next level. Jonas Sanker is going to be a steal for somebody. He's going to be an absolute steal. I don't know if any of you guys have checked him out, but he's complete. There ain't nothing about Jonas Sanker's game that you will dislike. In fact, to me, I think he was the star of that defense. They had some good players out there. Now, this guy made it different, man. Jonas Sanker is everything you want. He can play high safety. He can play low safety. He can play zone. He can play man. There's no flaws in Jonas Sanker's game. It's hard for me to say, but we got a few safeties out there that I feel are going to be elite safeties on the next level. He's one of them. Jonas Sanker is that dude, man. Y'all need to go check him out if you haven't. Check him out at Virginia. Jonas Sanker, 6'1", 210-pound senior. Let me get to a couple of comments. Oh, my fault. I gotta hold on. Hold up. Gotta get to these comments, man. Hold on. Go Blue, that was so generous. I gotta leave that up there, bro, for a minute longer. I'm gonna read these comments. Let me see here. Xavier Watts, FFG. That's FFG's. That's FFG's man crush of the draft. Xavier Watts. I know he's back there saying something. I love Xavier Watts, just so y'all know. But I'm telling y'all, when y'all see Jonas Sanker, I'm just going to say, I want to hear. Matter of fact, I need somebody to get in the comment section and holler at me and what you thought about Jonas Sanker. But let me get to some more of these guys, man. I don't want to make this show too crazy as long. We just did a 5-hour podcast, and that, that's a whole thing. Let me see here. Yeah, what we got. We still talking about safeties? All right. Here is the Don Corleone of the safeties, in my opinion. Nick Eamon-Wari, 6'3", 227-pound junior. He's a freak, man. He's a freak. Guys that big typically aren't as quick, as fast as your average safety or somebody in the secondary, but he lacks for nothing. The combination of size and strength, speed makes him elite. And he's got a good nose for the ball. Great field awareness for a guy. He's only a junior. I know a junior ain't that much difference than a senior, but he's got great field awareness. Try to find something about Nick Eamon-Wari that you don't like and come holler at me. Takes great angles, and that's one of the key things about a safety that people, I don't know, you tend to not pay enough attention to. But that's why you got people like me here to tell you a few things. The thing about a safety is, no matter what the play is, make sure you have proper depth. What I mean by depth, make sure that if you're the last guy, if you're the guy you're the last line of defense, make sure you have proper depth so that nobody can get over top of you. Number one. Number two is, when you come off of that depth and you're coming up to make a play, be sure, 100% sure you're taking the right angle. So that if this guy, you got to be coming up at the right angle, number one. And number two, you got to be breaking down as you're getting there. So you can't come into, be a silver bullet and try to explode through somebody every time. You'll have those shots. But a really, really good safety, he breaks it down as he's taking that angle and makes sure he closes out on that play. Those are the two things. We got a couple of safeties in the show right now that can tell you exactly what I just said to you. You got to have the proper depth, and you make sure you're taking angles when you make a break on that ball. Take the right angles, break down when you get into it. Make the sure tackle. He's got everything, man. Nick Eamon-Wari, I wouldn't be surprised if he was the first safety off the board. I really would. I would not be surprised if he goes off that board late first round, early second round, and be the first safety off of that. That's how impressive of a physical athlete he is, and his instincts and just the way he plays football is going to be highly attractive. I get to thinking about. I think his name is. I get to thinking about the physical safety that Dennis Allen had at the Saints for a while. Is number 43. I think his name is Patrick. I think his name is Pat Williams or Patrick Williams. I just can't remember exactly what his name is, but he was on this bigger side of the safeties, and he was a thumper and brought that intimidation aspect to that defense. And I thought that was special about what they had going on in New Orleans. And when they lost that guy, I think that defense, when they got Tyrann Mathieu, I thought, I ain't gonna be honest, I like Tyrann Mathieu, but I think he's a step back from the physical nature of what Williams brought to that table, man. But I do think Nick Emenwari fits that skill set, that physical safety that you need to be a box safety. He's everything you want down there. He's like an extra linebacker and can play coverage. So Nick Emenwari is the truth when it comes to the safeties. And I love Lathan Ransom, and I think the world of him. I think they pretty much go hand in hand to me. I think, depending on what you like as far as traits and skill sets go, I think they 1A, 1B, depending on what you like. But I think he's right there at the top, first or second of the draft, man. I think the world of Nick Emenwari. Get to some comments here. I'm letting the comments stack up. Yes, that guy is huge. No, not Roman Harper. I'm talking about number 43. His last name is Williams. I can't think of his name right now. Yeah, this dude Emenwari has a Darren Woodson type body. I think he's got better range than Kyle Hamilton. Yeah, that he could play for this version of the Legion of Boom FFG. Yeah, man. That dude's going to be the truth. Telling y'all. Cam Chancellor. Yeah. Let me get to some more guys, man. Let me get the show on the road. I want to do let me see what else we got here. Let me see. We got the safeties covered. We got the guards. Where we at? Let me get to another receiver that I forgot to talk about. And that is Jalen Royals, receiver from Utah State, 6 foot, 205-pound senior, big, strong, great hands on him. And he turns, and this is the key to Jalen Royals, is he turns into a running back and is explosive when he gets it. He's got the body type of you watch him play, he's got the body type of a running back. He's about the size of, he's probably a little taller than, let's say, Jahmyr Gibbs, but he's got some twitch to him. He's not as twitchy as Jahmyr Gibbs, but as a receiver and a play caller like Ben Johnson, that's going to do heavy, and he's going to be heavy on the jet sweeps and the reverses and things of that nature. And you need these kinds of guys that when you put the ball in his hand, he's versatile enough and can shed tackles and all that kind of stuff. Jalen Royals is probably one of the more slept-on receivers in this draft. If you're interested in watching tape, tell me he's going to be one of the more slept-on receivers in this draft, and he's going to be a steal. Just his ability to get that yak when he gets the ball in his hands, the way he turns into that running back. Because you can't look at this graphic right here and tell how well built he is from the waist down, man. He's a solidly built kid, and he's perfect for, you can throw him in the backfield on a jet sweep, coming around, sweeping around and giving them the ball on a straight handoff. It's all kinds of things you'll be able to do with this guy. So you look at Jalen Royals and know that he's got natural receiver abilities, great hands, great route running ability, finds open holes in zones, can get separation, off the line of scrimmage. But I think his superpower is absolutely when he gets the ball in his hand, how he becomes a running back, and he sheds tackles. I've seen many, many plays on screens and different things like that. When he gets that ball and that first guy has no chance to tackle him. He just knows how to shake that player off of him, and boom, next thing you know, is a big play about to happen. Jalen Royals, telling you guys, you're going to be quite, if you haven't seen him yet, he's going to show up on your radar as quite the surprise. I'm guaranteeing you that. You'll like him. Get to a couple of comments. Yes, Debo type. Yes, Debo type. Ladarius Webb, see you jumping ahead of me. Go Blue, you killing me, man. I'm taking it down, man. I haven't got to LA Tech yet. I'm finna get ready to do their stuff. Louisiana University, that whole little setup down there. I got them all. Trust me, I got the bullseye on him. But I just gotta take that down. Jaden Higgins, I'm getting to him, man. I'm getting to him. Nick, I'm getting to Jaden Higgins. Yes, FFG, that's a good comp for him, but he's quicker and faster, a lot quicker and faster than Anquan. Go Blue say he know his shit. I believe you. I can just tell how you talking in here, man. It's a couple of you guys, man. I know you know your shit. Don't take me long to be able to identify. We know. The real ones know, bro. Let me see here. Let me get to what else we got here. I'm trying to wind it down so I get to where I want to get to because. All right, let me see. Here's another sleeper. Andrew Armstrong, 6'4", 202-pound senior out of Arkansas. Big, long, T. Higgins type. And I put that there for a reason with more twitch. He's twitchier than T. Higgins. Very good catch rates. And so, there's a lot of people, around the fan base like, hey, we need to sign T. Higgins, and if he hits free agency. No, we don't. The only thing special about T. Higgins is he's big and he's got a great catch radius and great hands. That's special. And I'm not poo-pooing his skill set. That's great. It's special. But this is a guy you can draft with the exact same skill set. Exact same skill set. And he's got more twitch than T. Higgins. And so to me, when people be talking about, to me, I see free agency as a completely different animal. And I think if you can draft well and you know what you're looking at, exactly what you're looking at, then you know what it can become. And so what do you need? Why do you need T. Higgins when you know you can find there's guys like him all over this draft? He's not the only one. Andrew Armstrong is going to be one of those guys that comes off that board way later in the draft, some 4th, 5th round when you're trying to, you need depth in the receiver room. And it really comes down to, with us in Chicago, on what kind of receiver are we actually looking for? Are they going to be looking for, in particular, a slot receiver? Are they going to be looking for another possession receiver if we lose Keenan? I don't know. But in order for me to look at them all, I got to look at them in this context. If for the people out there that thinks, and I know that T. Higgins would bring us a certain something, you can also draft T. Higgins. You just got to know what you're looking at. This is a T. Higgins type of kid. 6'4", he's not extremely fast, just like T. Higgins is. He's not a home run hitter, but he's reliable, durable, and can make those big contested catches when you need that first down, when you need that red zone touch in the end zone. He's one of those guys. Andrew Armstrong, check him out. He's better than you think he is. He's a little more twitchy than T. Higgins, but he's everything T. Higgins is. So I would just say that. To a couple of comments. Yeah. Andrew Armstrong, 40 on the low is 4.4. 40 time, 4.5 high, 4.6. He's not extremely, he's not a burner by no stretch. Now, once he gets out in the open, I think he's got that stride that he'll pull away from some people. He's Kelvin Benjamin is like Frankenstein by the feet compared to this kid. I'm just trying to give y'all some sleepers out there that don't nobody talk about too much. I'm gonna get to Ricky White. Trust me when I tell you, Paul Rodriguez. I already got him locked in. Yeah, we got some field stretches coming up. We got some field stretchers. Go Blue. We got some field stretchers. Guys are gonna take the top right on off the defense. We got some of them coming up. I didn't put that a whole bunch of them in the show this time, but I got some. I got a lot of them. All right, let's get to the next guy. Let me see here. Let's get to another running back. Mr. Charles, this one's for you too. Slept on running back from Arkansas again, our running back Jaquindon Jackson, 6'2", 233-pound senior. Former quarterback, big, powerful, and elusive. Running style resembles Matt Forte. Now, I said that, and I don't have no qualms about repeating it. I said that because he has a lot of the traits that Matt Forte has. That subtle juke in the hole to avoid the tackler and run scot-free to the end zone. You'll see a lot of that on his film. Just that subtle ability to avoid that tackle with the juke, hop out from one hole to the next. For a guy that size, is pretty rare. He's a taller running back at 6'2", heavier, 233 pounds, and he can be physical. He's got a little long speed to go with it. You know what I mean? Jaquindon Jackson is one of the more slept on running backs out there that nobody's talking about. Don't ask me where he's going to get drafted. I don't know. But I know somebody just like me is scouring over some of this film and looking at this dude and seeing the value that I see in this kid. And he's just now really becoming a real running back. You know, he was a quarterback at first. And so what I think about this kid, now he's got that more of an upright, Eric Dickerson or a Matt Forte type of running style. That would be the first thing I would work on with him. And I'm not going to try to too much change a whole lot about the kid, but I'm going to work on, if I bring him in the building that I'm in, first thing I'm going to do is tell him we're going to work on getting your pad level down. That's it. You're a big target out there, and you're going to get hit right in your numbers, man. And so we're going to try to get your pad level down and get you to run behind them a little bit more. So that's one of the first things that'll show up to you on tape when you look at it, is how high his running style is. And I'm not saying that's a flawed running style. We had several great running backs that had that high running style be very, very successful in the NFL. And so I'm not saying there's a flaw in it, but I would want, with the speed of the game and the power of the game and the defenders being so much twitchier, fast, and strong and powerful, I would want him to protect himself a little bit better, get his pass down a little bit, and run up under him a little bit more. But other than that, man, I think this kid's got everything you're looking for. Ain't nobody talking about. But that's why you got the Nomad Network and the No Maniacs. That's why we do this stuff, man. So Jaquindon Jackson, 6'2", 233-pound senior out of Arkansas. Check him out. I think you'll like him the same way I do. There are a couple of comments here. Wait till you see. If you haven't seen him run, he's pretty smooth. I'm telling you, Nick. Jaquindon is smooth. And he has great vision. Thank you, Mr. Charles. That's one of the subtleties about him that kind of stands out, is his vision, how he sets it up, and he kind of sees it before it plays out, and he hits that accelerator at the right time. That's very true, Minister Charles. Jackson, what Jackson we talking about runs upright? Cornelius says he loved Matt Forte. I love Matt Forte too. He said he always thought he was better than Shady McCoy. Yeah. Dorsett was kind of more of an upright back too, wasn't he? All right, let's get to some more guys. I got some treats in here for y'all. So I listened to No Maniacs when y'all talk to me, man. I hear everything y'all be talking about. Whether you think I see it, sometimes show might get away from me and I can't see everything going on. But for the most time, I can see what people are asking for. And so I got a couple of little treats in here for y'all. And so one of them, I think some of these people might. So people have time and time again said we need a big tight end. We need a big tight end. 6'6", 255-pound senior, Caden Prieskorn out of Ole Miss. Huge inline blocking tight end. And can offer a stable target in the passing game. That's not the only thing he is. He glides so smoothly and finds openings, can get off a one-on-one coverage pretty well. And if he can't, all you got to do is throw the ball up to him. He's got a great catch radius. Caden Prieskorn is that big tight end that you need, that inline tight end that you need to go along with a Cole Kmet, who is also an inline. So basically, you'd have two Cole Kmets, guys that can basically line up inline and go out there and get you some passes and receiving reps. he's everything you need as far as that goes. So that dual threat as a tight end, you're not going to get this guy on no reverses or nothing. Don't be ridiculous about 6'6", 255. But, just particular tight end work, inline work, and getting those blocks secured and getting out in the passing game. And his route tree is pretty good too. Great hands, pillowy ass hands. Really good hands. But he's I would just say he's about as well-rounded a tight end as you can ask for in this draft. I love the kid at Notre Dame. Some other tight ends out there, man, several of them. But this guy is, if you need a versatile inline tight end, that tight end that can play wide, and that tight end and kind of play that, what do you call that? Sometimes you got to play X, Y. I mean, whatever they call him. I forget what the titles of them is. But this guy he's everything you need from a blocking tight end. He's going to shore up your running game. He's going to shore up, your downfield running plays. I mean, it's just, he can bring a multitude of things to the table, and let alone that he's a really good receiver as well, man. So Caden Prieskorn is probably one of the more underrated tight ends of the draft. So check him out. Ole Miss. You said we need a better tight end. What's up, Kamish? I see you out there. He said, Komet can't break tackles out. We've analyzed it. I've analyzed it. You know what, man? He does suck it. It's like anybody touches him, he goes down. Cole Komet's blocking is overrated, man. That was exposed this year. Scroll said he's a senior, no, man. Way too old for the NFL. Braden Stew from Clemson, man. Stop trying to steal my thunder, man. Get on out of here, FFG. Trying to steal my thunder, man. Wait till I get down the road, man, with your grinning ass. All right, here we go. I got another tight end for y'all. This guy right here. I got a feeling you guys are going to love this cat when y'all watch him on film for all kinds of different reasons. Before I pull him up, I just want you guys to think about, all right, let me put him up. Tight end Brant Keithy, 6'2", 236 pounds. I know y'all going to be, oh, it's kind of small. Pay no attention to the measurements. Senior, versatility off the charts. Truly, now I'm going to emphasize this and carry on just a little bit. Truly weaponizes the tight end position for it. He's a true receiver that plays tight end. I mean, and his route running ability to be able to separate. I mean, and those soft pillowy hands, man. This dude is you'll find out if you haven't seen him on tape yet. What you'll find out right away is the offensive coordinator got really, really creative when he realized exactly what he had in this kid. And so you start seeing the stuff that you see a lot of. Basically, you see a lot of Ben Johnson type of plays in their offense designed around this guy. And so he's one of those guys that, like, I'm sure they didn't go into, the season, like with these kind of play calls, thinking about them. I think those developed over time watching this cat practice. It's like, we got to get more plays in for this guy and figure out ways to get this guy the ball. So he's taking reverses in for touchdowns. Multiple, not just one or two, multiple. Did you hear what I said? A tight end taking in reverses for the touchdowns. Think about that. Tight ends taking in reverse and jet sweeps for touchdowns. Where the hell you got that at in the NFL? Where you got that at? And so what I mean by he weaponizes the tight end position for a creative offensive coordinator, which Ben Johnson appears to be, hell yeah, this guy is going to be very, very attractive in the draft for him. You could think of 7 ways from Sunday to scheme up stuff for a cat like this. Nobody expects tight ends to be able to play like that. But that's what he brings to the table. Brant Keithy is quietly one of the pure surprises that I've seen on film the entire offseason. He was a pure surprise to me. I mean, just a fluid athlete. Wait till you guys watch this kid on film. I'm telling you, it's going to be another guy y'all going to be talking about later on, but just know you heard it here first. To a couple of comments. Mr. Charles said he can work with him. You know what? Coast and Loveland was on the last show that we did, but I just forgot to bring him up because kids has got to go blue. It does sound like his Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta is just a little bit bigger. That's it. Ain't no difference between him and Sam Laporta other than he's probably a more fluid athlete and a better receiver than Sam Laporta, and Laporta's a little bit bigger. The wide tight end. Yep. Wait till y'all check him out. I'm telling you, it's going to be one of the more pleasant surprises you've seen all offseason. I guarantee you that. That dude is going to be a pleasant surprise. And all you're going to be remembering is what I said about what an offensive coordinator can think about when he sees this guy on film. Like, he's going to come up with all kinds of trickery to get this guy going. That guy's going to be a weapon, man. All right, let me see where we at. Let me make sure I covered everything. I was trying to get out of here before 2 hours, man. Let me see here. Check me out. Give me a second, y'all. Give me a second. Making sure I covered everything. Making sure. All right. I think I got to it all but this. Mr. Charles, this one is also for you. And it's also, before I put this up here, this is for every person that grew up a Chicago Bears fan and that's entrenched in your spirit. And, you know, I can't think and I can't feel for every Chicago Bears fan, but I can relate to a whole hell of a lot of. When I think of Chicago Bears football, I think of physical football. That's what I grew up understanding. That's what I grew up knowing. And that's what's in my heart and my spirit when it comes to Chicago Bears football. And so I'm telling you right now, what I'm about to put on the screen is probably the most slept on running back in the country. And that is Damian Martinez. 6 foot, 232-pound junior. He's got Marshawn Lynch beast mode in him. He's got that level to his game. He is straight up Punisher. He's a straight up Punisher. Does he have lateral agility? Yes. He can avoid some tackles and avoid some smoke when he needs to and break out for a nice run. No. Is he a speed burner? No. He's not going to dash off of no 90-yard runs. No. Somebody's going to run him down. But what he is somebody who's going to run right through your damn face, straight through your face mask, and get the whole stadium, you at home, and everybody else that loves Chicago Bear football excited. When you talk about thunder and lightning, this is the boom. This is the boom. Damian Martinez is the most slept on running back in this draft. To me, by a long ways. You won't hear nobody talk about Damian Martinez, but he's gonna absolutely, he does have that beast mode button on it. He can straight up take over a game physically when he wants to. Straight up. I've seen him do it a few times. I watched Miami all year long. I've seen him do it a few times. This cat is built for the battle. He's built for Chicago football. And if you got a DeAndre Swift or whoever else you might bring into this building as your lightning, the Thunder, and you talking about he's gonna get some people on their feet just because of the power that he runs with and the physical nature that he runs with. And he's got the body to be able to deal with it. You know, when you 232 pounds, 6 foot, 232 pounds, you're gonna give it out more than you take it. So I'm telling you right now, Damian Martinez is a treat. And when I think about Chicago and physical football running the ball, it's dudes like this that gets me excited. This dude will straight up run through your face mask. And that's what we want. That's what we want. We want at a certain point in the game where it comes down to willpower. Every football player knows this. When you're tired, it's that you late in the game and defensive line holding their hips, offensive line tired, they suck and win. You out there like, you know, it comes down to will. And at the end of the game in the cold, when we need something to happen, you just need to turn around and hand it to your running back and say, Damian, make me a play. We need 3 yards. Give it to me. The dude will run right through your face to get it. If you don't know who Damian Martinez is, if you haven't watched the film, I guarantee you're going to come away from this saying that is a Chicago Bear right there. That's a Chicago Bear running back. And I had to save him for last because that's how much that Bear spirit, man, and that Chicago football, that's all I kept thinking about watching this cat run the football. That's all I kept thinking about. Cold weather, the game is tight, end of the game, turn around and hand it off to Salt. We got 7 to 3-point lead on the board, and we need to turn it around. We need to hand it to a thoroughbred to get this game over. So we got to run this clock out, hand it to my boy. And Marshawn Lynch gonna come out of it. That's what I know about Damian Martinez. Go watch the tape and come back and tell me I'm a lie. I dare anybody. So that's what I'm gonna have to say about Damian Martinez, and that's what we got for tonight, man. Let me get it off the board and get to some comments before I bring FFG in here. All right, let me set this up. All right, man. So AC Adams says Martinez was an even bigger beast at OSU. I just started watching some of his OSU. He's talking about when he was at Oklahoma State. I just started watching some of that. He was tough over there. He does have that hit stick. Yes, he is a lot bigger than Monty, man. I'm telling y'all, when I think about Chicago Bear running back, he's got to have a certain trait to him. Montgomery is one of those guys, that had that trait to him. But Martinez got everything you want in Chicago Bears running back. 4 or 5 seconds, I don't care what he runs in a 40. I know he's going to deliver on that field when it's time. Oregon State, you're right. Oregon State. All right, FFG, what you think about all that, man? Without getting, we got to try to keep it down to about 10 minutes here.
Oh, now you want my opinion? Okay.
Man, I'm just trying to hurry up and get it out, man, so we can get out.
It's all gravy. There's a bunch of prospects that I feel that we could take advantage of. It depends on how they want to go in the draft and who we get in free agency. That's basically what it boils down to at this point, whether it's offensive linemen, backups, maybe a starter, maybe a safety, because there's a couple great options in the safety class. It depends on how they want to approach running back. Based on that, we need a running back too right now, for sure. I really don't think they're going to probably focus on linebacker at this point. I think they're going to let Dennis Allen cook and retain most of the people that we have, unless he sees a glaring need, which I don't see. Now, they're probably always going to draft a corner. I contend that you draft corners every year just to replenish the stables and see who they can beat out or if they're good enough. Okay. Other than that, I really didn't see a lot of defensive linemen preview today. It was more the O-line. So who knows? But I really believe that the offensive line – goodness. The offensive line probably will be addressed more in free agency than in the draft. I think that they're going to really get a lot of key starters and then come back around and fill in, with quality backups that either can replace a starter in a year or two, but they're probably going to look for starters on defense. And that's where I think the draft is going to go. Excuse me, I need some water.
Yeah, you need it.
But I love the chat. I loved everybody who knows their players. I mean, we get so much information. It's ridiculous. Excuse me. Ooh, had to get that out.
You all right?
Getting the hiccups.
Well,
it happens every now and then,
That's part of the game, man. Let me answer a couple of questions here. Dodgy34 says, what round would you take that R&B? I think he's talking about Damian Martinez. Would you take him over the guy you talked about before, Devin Neal? No, I think Devin Neal is I think he's got the best skill set amongst all the backs in the draft. I'm talking about complete. I'm talking about the vision, the in-hole lateral agility to be able to make people miss. Size, he doesn't have the down speed, but he is, let's just say this. I think depending on what you want, if you're looking for the David Montgomery type of running back that's going to be physical and give you that image and that mystique that you're looking for, like if you want to play that kind of ball, then Damian Martinez is more of that back you're looking for. That's more of the back you're looking for. That guy that's going to come in and play to spell Damian Martinez later on. You're looking for that lightning. That's your Brashard Smith out of SMU, guys like that, or your Treveyon Henderson types of the world. But it's all about how they see. I think the physical nature. I think you can get a Damian Martinez much later, and let the chips fall where they may. I think we're going to end up with a couple more backs in here, one way or the other. Where they come from, I have no idea. I'm thinking they're going to probably come out of the draft. We might do something in free agency. I seriously doubt that. I don't see the running back market as that type of running back market. They went after a Najee Harris, who wouldn't surprise me, but I know that you can get that kind of quality in this draft. Damian Martinez is just one of those guys. That's kind of a hard call for me to think, all right, you got a choice between Devin Neal and Damian Martinez. I think the world of Devin Neal. I think the world of Damian Martinez is just two different kinds of backs. And I know they're going to get drafted differently too. So Devin Neal is going to go probably late first round, early second round, probably. Martinez can go anywhere after that, second, third, fourth round. That's just how I think it's going to play out. But that's just me guesstimating about it all. But I appreciate the question, Tomsy, though. Let me see. Paul Rodriguez said, good show. Thank you, bro. I know they're going to draft a running back. It's no doubt about it. It's about how many do they draft.
I think they're going to draft too late, and they're going to do exactly what you said. They're going to draft their Thunder and Lightning for the future. And now with having, a quality running back coach, he's going to be able to coach them up along with the line and everything else that they're going to build. So I think it's going to be a more cohesive unit, and you ain't paying them nothing. I really think that's how it's going to flow. They're smart enough to know the running back group this year is loaded.
Yeah. So, I think I think we do a pretty good job over here. I got to turn my phone off because I'm in a group text. And people just blowing. One of my great aunts just turned 84 years old. And everybody's giving her a happy birthday. And she's got dementia. So happy birthday, aunt. I want to say this real quick, man, because I'm not. Let me see. Hold on before I say that. MC Fact says Damian Martinez strengths will be. He's only 21 years old in his rookie season. Big body running back with a massive frame that gives him a physical advantage over the opposition. That's the way MC Fact. That's exactly how I see this in my head when I think about this. One of the things that I just had this. My mother said it's a gift. Is I can kind of project, and I got a vision. I can see forward down the line a little bit. I'm not trying to be cocky like I got some kind of special magic wand traits, but I do have this ability to see and project down the line, and I can visualize what it would look like. That's it's just a gift that I have. And Damian Martinez, I could definitely see in a uniform in the cold, pounding the absolute shit out of the opposition late in the game and giving us the advantage we need and getting the fans behind us. He's the kind of, that's like, you have to understand Chicago and understand the fan base. We would appreciate a back like that. You know that. FFG, you know that. It's the kind of backs we like. Physical, snotty, bust your shit up. That's what we grew up. If you grew up loving a Walter Payton film, then this is the kind of back you're looking for.
I like Jason Toy's question. Who do you want in free agency for the top 3 O linemen? Would you like me to answer? Because I'm just going to be way different than what most people think.
Just be quick about it because we only got a few minutes.
Yeah, so I'm looking at Mekhi Becton, Dahlman, and Zeitler. And now I can draft my replacements later in the draft, especially when I trade back in the first round, pick up them picks. Now I got a solid veteran offensive line to go with my 2 tackles.
I hear you. We're gonna do another free agent show, man. That's coming up in the works. I got so many different guys I want to show you all. No Maniacs, so many different players I've been doing. I hope y'all appreciate what I do, man, because the man hours that I'm putting in to make sure that I got it all covered, watching all this film. It's like no days off, no time off. It's like all day today, getting ready for the show. I get up doing this stuff. I get up doing it. I go to sleep doing it, making sure I can cover this stuff the right way for you guys. And you guys get to see, some of the lesser known, commodities out there, because I know every podcaster is out there talking about the top end of the draft. Every podcaster, that's what gets clicks. To me, that's like, I'm not here for clicks. I'm here for, hey, you want to know about these football players? Talk to a fucking football player that will just willing to put in the film work. Shit, they probably need to hire my ass at Hallis Hall, the man hours that I put in down here, and I can call it. I can project what these guys can be. I've been doing it the last couple of, I've been doing it before I was a podcaster. Now you guys get to see and hear me do it live. I've been doing this shit. And I'm not trying to try to pat myself on the back, but I work my ass off, y'all. I really do. And I'm glad to be able to come live and do this stuff with FFG and give you guys a glimmer into what I'm doing behind the scenes. And that's, like I told y'all, it's a boatload more. Next time we do a show, it might be 30 or 40 of them, because that's how many people I need to get to. It's a lot of really good players in this draft from everywhere, from Alabama to places like Stony Brook, VMI, Old Dominion. There's players all over the country that I got stashed in this list that you're going to be like, holy shit, where did this dude come from once you see him on tape? So it's my pleasure to do this for you guys. I know I'm not wasting my time, and it's a pleasure to do it and to give it to people, give the results of your labor to people that appreciate it. So that's why I want to just say thank you to you guys for that, because I know you guys are receiving it. I can tell. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you, and thank you, Go Blue, for the $50 super chat, man. That was amazing, man. I appreciate that. We need as many of those things we can get by the end of the month so we can pay these bills around here. So I just really appreciate you guys, man, a whole lot, man. So let me pass it on to FFG for some pleasantries before we get ready to get up out of here.
Man, it's been an amazing show. I know I wasn't super involved today, but I'll be taking notes just like the rest of y'all. Trust me when I tell you, we talk all the time, and I like to let Nomad go off because he's more passionate about a lot of these cats because he does do a lot of the work. So I praise him for that. But everybody in the show, it just, like, the knowledge base is just killing me. Like, everybody knows who they talking about, the different players around the country, who they want to see, and MC Fact been coming out with all kind of information about all kind of dudes, Go Blue, it's like a bunch of people, Squalls, it's ridiculous how well knowledge and how well read we are with football in general, not just the Bears. And that's what I really appreciate from everybody who's joined in today and everybody who's always on the channel. And thank you to the Super No Maniacs and everybody who wants to chime in, and just appreciate the show. We're going to bring you out a reel every single time. We're not here about, this ain't clickbait around here. It's really about getting your opinion out. We listen to y'all. We give y'all information. And we try to really influence the decision makers, that can actually help the Bears be the team we want them to be. And now with Virginia's passing, I really hope they take advantage of every single opportunity they get. That's not a bunch of BS people on the news. People actually really produce quality content every single week to make it a viable option for them. So thank you again, Nomad. Love y'all.
More than welcome, my guy. Appreciate it. It's my pleasure to do it. and to bring this content to you guys. It's like one of the things that again, thanks to people like Virginia McCaskey in particular, is the reason why we have a show and we can be able to do this content, and I can actually give you guys my true passion. My passion is football. It's always been, this is my first girlfriend. Before girls was popular to me, it was football, Jack. That was my first love. And I like fish to water, I took to it. And so I'm kind of patting myself on the back a little bit here, but I'm the perfect person to talk about it. Been entrenched in it all my life. Playing it at the second to highest level. Didn't get to play in NFL for a bunch of different reasons. My own fault, but I didn't get that. I didn't get that pleasure, but I know what it's like, because I've got many NFL homeboys that played it and, now are coaches, you know what I mean? But, I got this stuff for y'all, No Maniacs. I got this for y'all in spades, man. I just want y'all to know that I got this all season, this draft, and all these prospects covered for y'all, smothered like gravy in a pork chop and potatoes and onions. Telling you, I got y'all faded. I just want y'all to know that before we get up out of here, and I leave you with these last words. I want to tell y'all something too, man, because it's a lot going on in the world, man. It's a lot of, let's just say, some unfortunate stuff going on out here, man. But what you can do is really control what you can control, and try to be the best human you can be. For the most part, is what I can tell you. Try to be the best human you can be. You can't do nothing about somebody else's will and intention. Like, I can talk to anybody I want to in the world, but I can't get in that person's mind, and I can't know that person's intention. Only thing I can do is get in my own damn mind and know what my intentions are and what my heart is and what it means, and what do I mean when I say things to people. Do I really mean it? Is my real intention to, come to some kind of good? That's my intention every single day. Try to get to something good. You know what I mean? I just want people to be mindful of what you're thinking is genuinely what you are. If you're thinking it, it's going to 9 times out of 10 come out of your mouth. If you say the wrong something out of your mouth, I've seen this many a times. I'm a Tupac and Biggie fan. I really, really enjoy that era of hip hop. And I studied those guys immensely. And, one of the bad things, I know if those two guys were still here on earth right now to talk to you all, and they would tell you that I would get that death out of my conversation, all that death. And, I see death around the corner. I see, I'm ready to die and all that kind of stuff. They would get that out of their vocabulary, because they would realize now, looking in hindsight, like, I brought the Grim Reaper to me. And so what I'm trying to tell you all is be mindful of what you think, control your thoughts, and what comes out of your mouth. Typically, when you can control your thoughts, you are in good management and good steward of what comes out of your mouth. If you say the wrong thing, you expect failure, you expect bad things to happen, you're going to say stuff, and bad things are going to happen time after time after time. If you clean your mind, disinfect your mind, your mouth is going to get a whole lot better. And the things that happen around you is going to get a whole lot better. I can promise you that. I know that from experience. I'm telling you guys what I know. So please clean up the clutter and the garbage and the BS in your mind, and the mouth will follow, and you're going to manifest good things in your life, man, because you can speak them into reality. That I know. So I just wanted to leave you guys with that thought. Be a police of your thoughts. Be the policeman of your mind. Get that bullshit up out of there. Get the bad intention out of there. Get good things going on in your mind. Your mouth will follow, and watch you bring some good, really good stuff to yourself. That being said, I'm going to leave you with these famous words. If you can think it and you can see it, people, there's no reason in the world why you cannot absolutely manifest it. Do not be a prisoner of your own mind. But with that being said, we are out.